We do.
Oh, you do.
Good day and welcome to our regular Saturday morning community meeting of Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google+. And welcome, and I would have to say that this last week, without question, has been the most active week in the very brief history. What is it? 3 months now? I think we've been building this community, and this last week was absolutely the most active week that we've had so far. First, we had our 500 member number 500 joined this week. Her name is Rhonda Green, and Rhonda, welcome to our community. I actually invited Rhonda to come to the HOA today to formally introduce her, but have not heard back from her yet. And let's see what else happened this week. The community appointed a moderator of our community, and it's my good friend Vivek. Good morning, Vivek from the UK. Oh, actually, good afternoon, Vivek from the UK. Right. There he is. You want to say hello?
Good day.
Okay, good day. Vivek was probably in the first 1, 2, or 3 members of the community. He wasn't number 1, but he might have been number 2 or number 3, and Vivek and I have been friends for approaching 2 years now. It'll be 2 years pretty soon. We actually met in an HOA. It was Ray Hiltz's HOA, and we were both panel members on that for the better part of a year. And Vivek has taken a very active interest in the community, and to show you the kind of individual he is and the kind of moderator he is going to be, he went in and cleaned up the mess that I had going in there. Not that it was a big mess, but he made it more logical. And you know why Vivek made it more logical? Because integrate, simplify life, which is his mantra. And Vivek, why don't you share with our community your Monday morning HOA concept and where we are and where we're going to be this Monday morning?
Yeah, Monday, it's actually tea time for me. It will be morning for David.
That's right, it is tea time for you. The time zone thing, Vivek, it'll get to you.
Yeah, it's about project management. It's a HOA series about project management. Prince 2, which is a UK government qualification. It's a methodology of managing projects, and in this HOA series we are addressing the methodology and how it applies to small businesses, which is what we are more keen on.
And I think, Vivek, you also have posted inside the community links to is it 10 or 11 HOAs that we've done? Is it 11 yet, or 11?
Monday one is 11.
Okay, the 10 HOAs that we have done already, and I should say that Vivek asked me to help him launch the effort 11 weeks ago, and I haven't left that panel seat yet. I have found it such a fascinating topic, fascinating discussion, and Vivek and I have been able to, in the 10, 11 weeks that we've been doing this, really bring it down to small business, because it's a concept that obviously will work extremely well in large organizations. You have to have a process like this in place for large organizations because you've got folks doing all kinds of things, and they're doing what they do and doing what other people want them to do. And for sure, the whole process lets folks know exactly what their responsibilities are, what their expectations are, and then, as important as all of this is, accountability for their actions. Because all you need to do is look at how the mind map, and it's a fascinating concept, this whole concept of mind map. It'll scare you away initially, like it did me when Vivek first showed me that mind map. I said, "Oh my God, what's it all about? Where do I plug in?" And each week, and that's been the beauty. I've watched Vivek take a portion of that mind map, focus on that portion, and another really neat thing that he's been doing is taking adventure Star Trek shows. Some of you are probably too young for Star Trek. I know Scott and Vivek and I are old enough, and Preston, you might have just kind of fallen into the you're a baby in your crib when Star Trek was happening. But Vivek takes one of the shows from Star Trek and applies the theme of that show to the theme of the discussion for that week. So, Vivek, why don't you post in this event stream that that one graphic you have that shows the time of the broadcast on Monday for the various folks?
Yep, I'll do that.
Okay, now the other two guys that you see in the screen, they were formally appointed by myself as advisory board members of our community. Preston Odenbrett and Scott Silverstein. As I'm looking at the screen, I don't know how the rest of the world is. Preston's at the far left, hence his lower third says Preston Odenbrett. Scott doesn't have a lower third going, but he's got a you-do going behind him. And we're going to, I'm going to let each of them say hello, but Scott, save your discussion. We're going to save that for the end discussion of today because, my friends, this is going to be the most exciting community announcement that I've ever made, or that has ever been made in the community. Scott and I have been talking about a concept for the last couple weeks, and Scott made a major business decision this week and shared it with me, and I said, "Wow, unbelievable!" And I want to share that the discussion or the result of that discussion with everybody at the end. But Preston, what has intrigued you the most about our community so far? And when I asked you to, well, you like Vivek, I believe you probably have as high an attendance of our community meetings since we began them. I remember talking with you the very first one that we ever had. So what is it that attracts you to the community? What are you finding?
Well, I think the first thing, obviously, and I know you just got a comment from Don Sturgill about it, but the name is so catchy. You know, dreaming with entrepreneurs. I mean, it's like when you're an entrepreneur, you have to dream because that's your goal. You want to build a business, and you have to have a why for building your business, because if you don't, you won't survive.
You have to have a why. Have you been talking to Vivek about that? What is this? Vivek is really big on the why of business.
I've read the book by that gentleman and saw his TED Talk too, so it was interesting that he posted it there just recently. But no, it's just, and the quality of people here is, you know, it's quality. I mean, it's not, you know, like you get in Facebook and you get in other places. I'm not going to mention other ones, but they're quality, but you can't get to know them. You can't do a relationship with them unless you know how to tweet and kind of figure that out. It's just better, you know. And I've been in other communities and other communities I'm still part of, but this one just seemed like the right fit for me. So that's why I'm.
Well, it's kind of interesting because the bottom half of well, the bottom part of your lower third says Smash Solutions, and as we've talked about in HOAs, in community HOAs in the past, Smash Solution is tying all of the it's tying social media together and creating a powerful solution that has been very fascinating to me, and folks can go back and look. Have you? Why don't you post in the community, Preston, something that tells folks about Smash Solutions and what it is you do, why you do it, and how important it can be. And the one reason why I'm interested in that, we're all interested in it, is that you know, because you're on the advisory board, and we had an advisory board. We had our first advisory board meeting this week. We talked about a program that I have created, and I threw it out to our advisory board for their comments, positive comments, negative comments, and so we can create a very strong program. And two things I want to talk about real quickly. That's the concept of an advisory group. Every small business needs an advisory group. Those are folks that you go to. They may know you, they may not know you. In the case of my advisory board, these folks know me in that we all met in HOAs at various points in time. And we connected, we interacted with one another, the power of the HOA, the true power of that HOA, and now we are all collaborating. Each one of us is collaborating in a different way, one-to-one, individually, as a group, and that is the major theme of our community, is small business collaboration. How can small businesses, small business owners, work together to benefit each business, and then as a force create a new kind of force to take to the marketplace that will assist other businesses grow their businesses. That, my friends, I believe it's a relatively new business model that I started talking about 5, 6, 7 years ago. That there's so many solopreneurs. A solopreneur being myself. Each one of these individuals that you see on the panel are solopreneurs in that we have our own businesses and we operate our own businesses as our businesses, but we look to other small businesses, other solopreneurs, and figure out how can we collaborate and work together to each grow our businesses and grow the small business world. That's the message. That's our mission. That's our mission is how can we assist each other to grow our businesses. The other thing that Preston mentioned, and I want to quickly mention it, the name Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. Preston, I had an epiphany one night, and I can remember the epiphany very, very well. It was Monday night, Tuesday morning, after midnight on a Monday night. I had watched Dancing with the Stars, which has always been one of my favorite shows to watch. And I was awakened by this epiphany that every entrepreneur has epiphanies. They have them in the shower, they have them during their sleep, they have them during the day, whenever, and that's the start and the build of that dream. Well, I woke up, and all of a sudden the words Dreaming with Entrepreneurs came to me. Just boom, just like that. And I ran down to my computer, went on GoDaddy, and I bought dreamingwithentrepreneurs.com. True story. Next day, that day, when the rest of the world was waking up, I called my small business attorney, and I said, I told him about my epiphany, and I said, you know, my vision is to create a television show called Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. So number one, I want to have an LLC to protect my business entity, but as important as that is, I want to protect the words, the concept, Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. So I filed for a service mark, and $3,000, and almost 3 years later, I had the service mark and the company called Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. Before all of that ended, I'd started to produce a television show, literally here in Cincinnati on public access television called Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. I did 65 shows, and I've got DVDs of all those shows. And Vivek is going to teach me how to take some of those, the better of those DVDs, and somehow incorporate them into the community. Now, one final thing about Dreaming with Entrepreneurs. As we speak, literally, I am relaunching a website called DreamingWithEntrepreneurs.com. DreamingWithEntrepreneurs.com. It's not so much that it's a website, and I'll continue to have this ongoing discussion argument with my friend Vivek. Or was it Preston? One of the two of you challenged me on my concept of landing pages. Was it you, Vivek? Yes. No. Oh, it was William Rock. William Rock was the one that challenged me. And I believe in the concept of a landing page, that, you know, every single page, any place that you land on the internet is a landing page. And the way that you can tell it's a landing page, because you look up in the browser and there's a URL in that browser. Every landing page has its own unique URL. So my concept for the last couple years has been to market to a landing page, because on that landing page you have a central idea. You have a central focus. You don't throw 10,000 options at somebody. You make that page as simple and as focused as you possibly can. There's a video on that page. There's 1, 2, or 3 blog type sections of that page, and you're doing all the things that Google wants you to do so that they can recognize you for your information and add on to their database of information in the form of the search. So believe me, my friends, the concepts work. Up until about, well, I think I stopped marketing a website that I had called davidsbarter.com. It's been about a year now since I've actually marketed to that site. And what I did was I did an HOA that automatically became a YouTube, and I took and I embedded the code on my landing page, on a landing page, and that was the central theme of that page. Trust me, Google loves the concept. Am I right about that, Vivek?
Yes, yes, you are right.
Because I called it the triple hit, the triple hitter. That yeah. You did the HOA. That's why they created HOAs, because it became a marketplace where there would be daily, 24/7 ongoing flow of information and live interactions like we are doing right now. When we're done with this HOA, it goes up to a YouTube channel. Then you do what you need to do on that YouTube channel to drive traffic to your YouTube channel. Then if you put that on your a web page, on a landing page, boom, you got that circle going. And Google loves that circle. Oh, I'm worn out, guys. Help me here. I'm worn out.
Yeah, you said there was some difference of opinion or discussion or any of the that was mainly to do with who would create the landing page. That was the only contentious point, And the point was, when you have lots of people joining your community and the new community that you are going to set up, I suppose that you're going to talk about that soon.
At the end.
Yeah.
Talk about it at the
end. When people join into that, and that community, you are saying that every member would get a landing page. The question that William Rock raised was, are you going to let each of them to create a landing page, or are you going to create the landing page for them?
Okay, let me answer that question real quickly. My vision originally was to, I mean, they would have a template. The landing page would have a template, and they would just fill in the box, fill in the squares. William convinced me that, and it didn't take him long. It took him about 2 minutes to convince me that it was not a very good idea to let everybody. Everybody has to be they will be responsible for the content of their page, but to let an unlimited number of folks have access to the website via administrative entrance to the website, no, it's not going to happen. So we're going to have somebody who will be in charge of, and you and I need to talk about this, because I want to throw an idea to you and see what you think about it. But that's everybody. I'm creating it's a sub community, if you will, to Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google Plus, and it's I'm not going to talk a lot about it right now, but what I am going to say right now is that 98% of the small business owners, small businesses I've met over the last 40 years, are too engaged in the day-to-day activity of their business. How much money am I going to make today? Can I pay my bills today? Am I going to have my business around tomorrow? I see Scott kind of shaking his head on that one. Well, they're all shaking their heads. Scott, I'm going to get to you because I know you've got about 10 comments that you want to make about things. But people, business, we're so engaged in our businesses, we don't take the time that we need to take to step back and really evaluate what is going on in our business. Are we wasting our energies? Well, the answer is yes. We waste a lot of energy. We waste a lot of energy doing things that we shouldn't necessarily be doing, but we do it because they've got to get done. And if you want to read about it if you want to read about it in detail, my recommendation is Michael Gerber, and he's got a ton of books back here. But the E-Myth, he talks there. Vivek is holding it up. Michael Gerber talks about it, that small business owners, they have great ideas. I mean, the ideas for the world come from entrepreneurs, come from small business owners. But you know what? We get too engrossed in that idea and not the business, not enough into the business that drives that idea, that keeps that idea going, that has the processes and systems that Vivek talks about in Prince 2. We just don't spend enough time doing it. So every year at this time, I encourage small business owners to step back from your business. Leave your computer. When I say step back, I mean step back. Get away from your desk. Go to some place where you're going to have solitude, and you're going to have time to think about your business. What worked well for you in 2014? Why did it work well for you? What did you do that made that particular business process work well for you? Equally as important, and maybe more important, is what didn't work well from you. What fell short of your expectations? Now, if it didn't work well for you, that may very well be wasted energy. You may have wasted your time, wasted your energy. working on things that there'd be a better way to do it. That's what I'm saying. We need to take the last 100 days of this year, any year, and the 265th day of this year is this coming Tuesday. And there will be 100 days left after that. I am challenging you to step away from your business, identify those things that worked well for you in 2014, and how can you make them better, work even better than they did in 2014, for 2015. Take those things that didn't work so well for you. Ask yourself why, and you better be able to come up with a reason why it didn't work well. Your business is in trouble if you cannot say why something didn't work. Well, it didn't produce results. That's basically why it didn't work. It just didn't produce the results that you wanted it to produce and you needed it to produce. So redefine, reposition, redo, get rid of it. If it doesn't work, get rid of it and put something in its place. Put a new goal and objective in its place. That's what I'm challenging you to do for the last 100 days of the year. To that end, we are creating within our community an environment that's I'm creating you know what? I'm going to shut up now because I said I wasn't going to talk anymore about it. Scott, why don't you bring up the questions that you had, because they've been flowing in the chat box, and then talk about the most exciting opportunity that we're going to be able to present to this community.
Well, first of all, David, I'd like to thank you for having me on. I think we discussed the other day that first of all, does everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We discussed the other day, geez, it just seems like you're always asking me to jump on the show on Saturday. So I'm thinking maybe this might be my last appearance. But now that you've said you've appointed me onto the advisory board, I guess I'm locked in at least to the
No, let me I know we're having a little bit of fun with this. Let me clarify that. As the advisory board, I'm going to come to you guys, and you know what? Anybody in the community, anybody that is listening right now, viewing right now, be it live, be it recorded, if you want to be on the advisory board of this community, please let me know. And if you're willing to take that on, we'll make it work. We'll make it work for you. I need all the help and assistance I can possibly get. That's why I have an advisory board. I'm not a tech person, but I've got wonderful tech minds that I interact with in this community. Scott is a marketing kind of guy. He's an entrepreneur like myself. We are always looking for opportunities to grow ourselves, to grow our businesses. That's what Scott is all about. Preston's kind of a mixture of all this stuff. He knows technology. He's got a good marketing head on his shoulders. Actually, you need to challenge me more than you challenge me, Preston. I want you to create those challenges for me. But that's why we have an advisory board. So, Scott, to your point, my expectation of you being on the advisory board is not necessarily for you to be here every Saturday. If you want to be here every Saturday, you know there's a seat available. There will always be seats available for...
That just gets to the point, David, that I have never been in a conversation with you, either in private or in public, where you are not about helping small business and entrepreneurs. And I just want to acknowledge you for that. And it just goes to show how this community is growing. I think there are over 500 members now. So I don't know who got the 500, but just know that there might be a toaster waiting for you if you get a hold of David.
I threw that out there. We threw that out there in the event stream or in the community stream this week, and the toaster was rejected, Scott. I'm sorry to say. So it's got to be something better than a toaster.
And also,
A good business idea. They wanted a good business idea rather than the toaster. That's what they wanted.
You mentioned the other day about you introduced me a few weeks ago to Preston, and you know, without this community, how would I have ever met Preston? I believe he's from not Nicaragua or Costa Rica. I'm pretty sure he's from Honduras. Lives near a banana plantation.
Wait a second. Didn't you create last week a virtual banana?
Yeah, Preston threw the banana over to me here on the Hangout, and I caught it up in Pennsylvania. It was digitized, and it landed in my hands.
Let's see you guys do that again. Let's see you do that again. Come on, I want to see it again.
Well, actually, what I would like to do, wait, hold on. I got a $20 bill.
Ooh,
okay.
I want to virtualize. Send that to Cincinnati, Ohio.
No, on the back of it, it's the White House.
It was invaded last night. Oh my goodness.
Well, what I could do, I could take this, fold it, go poof, and I could send it to any one of you guys.
Ooh.
That's the power of this technology.
Forget Vivek and press and send it to Small Biz David.
Well, that's a good idea too. But anyway,
it reminds me of a story, Scott. And I think I even shared that story with you this week, real quickly. It was on a Saturday morning, it might have been 50 years ago already. It was on a Saturday morning, maybe 50 years ago, and a character by the name of Soupy Sales told all of his audience to go find $1. I'm not going to say what he told them. Go find $1 and send it to Soupy Sales. Not virtually, because you couldn't do it virtually in those days.
And I thought he said, go to your mother's purse and pull out $1 and send it.
That's exactly what he said, and he ended up in prison over all that. So
don't try this. If anyone's out there, don't try it. But
you can do it. You can do it virtually, though. I think the moral of the story is today do it virtually. Is that
right?
Okay.
But anyway, I'm associated with a company called UDO.
Hoodoo?
Not Voodoo, UDO.
Hoodoo, you do. Voodoo, you do.
UDO.com. You do it yourself digital publishing. And that space is extremely busy right now. See, I have 30 years experience in the print industry, and we've experienced over the last 10 years an implosion of informative print in this country. I mean, no publisher is expanding his subscription base on printed magazines and newspapers. It's just not...
Scott, to that point, you know what I just read this morning? And my heart fell. The headline on a story was, why is Forbes magazine failing, or why did they fail? And I said, oh my God, we're talking about an institution. Forbes magazine is an institution.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Time, the New York Times is a great company, a wonderful company. They're in a terrible business. So I operated a print brokerage company for 30 years, and I'm looking at my sales year in and year out, and they're just evaporating. And I realized that, you know what? My buyers don't want this print anymore. They want digital. And make a long story short, I'm involved with UDO Digital Publishing, we provide the platform for folks that want to publish digital documents. So one of the things that I saw in that, my relationship and my experience in digital publishing, is that there's a huge, I mean just a big capital H, huge potential for profit. Not in the publishing end of it, but in the advertising end of it. So I decided to start a magazine, Hangouts on Air magazine. If you want to subscribe, go to hangoutsonairmagazine.com. Complete the subscription form, and you will get the launch issue as well as the pre-launch issue of this magazine. Now, when I first started this back in March, my idea came to me in March, and there's no competition for this. I realized that a magazine of the quality that I wanted to bring to the market is going to require a lot more than me. I cannot operate this as a lone cowboy. And I started thinking, I need an editor. I need an ad salesperson. I need a graphic designer. Of course, we need a publishing platform, and UDO is going to work with us, and they will give us a couple of the initial publications at no charge just to get the ball rolling. And through the Dreamers community, I hooked up with a woman down in Australia who volunteered to be the editor. However, she rescinded that offer the other day when it became pretty apparent that we were going to have a problem working a day and a half into the future.
I was going to bring Vivek into the time zone challenge. Although the way Vivek and I operate, I get up at the same time he does.
However, what I did put out to her, perhaps she wants to be the editor for the Australian market.
There you go.
Hangouts on Air magazine.
There you go.
So we don't need the time element, isn't as crucial there. And I haven't heard from her yet because it's, I don't know, what is it? It's midnight over there Sunday morning. So, but anyway, I talked to David last week, and he offered to be on the advisory board, and he thinks this is a great idea. Well, guess what? I want to make sure this magazine gets started right, and what David and I both agreed on was, let's turn the entire magazine over to the Dreamers community. Let's make it a community project. And that's the big announcement today. Hangouts on Air magazine, published by the Dreaming with Entrepreneurs in Google Plus community. And I say everyone in this community gets a free full-page ad in the magazine.
Oh my Lord!
Wow. Nice.
Why not? Why not?
Well, you know my answer to the why not.
And make it available to anyone in this community as well as out there in the what do you call it, beyond the cloud, out there in the
cyber. I
cyber
call it
world.
I call it cyberspace or
Yeah.
Google World. Google World or
Wants
cyber.
to contribute an article or information. This is a digital publication. It costs nothing to distribute. So we really need everyone in the community. And one of the clear areas that we have to look at is subscribers. I think there's about 120 folks that have subscribed. They've received nothing as of this date. We really need to step up and get them a magazine. I say it could be a quarterly magazine. But it could always be updated. Each quarterly magazine could include updates as they come into the quarter.
Well, as I said to you, Scott, the whole concept of being digital, I don't think you need to define how often it's going to come out. It comes out. It comes out when it comes out. The only time that you really need to worry about a deadline date, if you will, is because you've made a commitment to an advertiser. Am I right?
Or the printer. The printer has to.
Or the printer. Or the printer.
The printer has to have the copy and everything ready to go on the press. And if you're not there, you're going to miss the deadline. In digital, there is no requirement of that nature. You can correct spelling mistakes as you find them.
Let me share real quickly, Scott. It's like I'm completing one circle in my life by me getting involved with this publication. I started my career over 40 years ago as a traditional publisher. So I was dealing with printers before you were, Scott, because it goes back over 40 years, and it is so exciting to me because I remember what I had to do 40 years ago to get a printed publication out, to get it printed, to get it distributed, to go out and talk to the advertisers about it. And we live in a different world today, and I'm so excited about getting involved at the end of my career, if you will, in that different world. And getting this publication published.
Yeah, and so what and I also have some advertisers that have lined up. Actually, they've given me copy for the ads. I have a few articles, but my focus right now is Udoo, the publishing platform itself. And I'm making this available to Hangouts on Air magazine for at least the first 2 publications, no charge. Everyone in this community gets to participate in the publishing of it as a project for the community. Advertising revenues could conceivably go back to the community. I think we should pick something out like a charity to support. Like this morning, I just gave a couple bucks to a local charity where they're raising money for a guy who's paralyzed so he can get his wheelchair up into his trailer. I thought that was a pretty good cause. They expect to have the money raised by the end of the day. But I think we can do that. I think we can do that as a community. And I think the brain power, particularly in this forum today, as well as everyone in the community, I think we can be very successful. Not only can this be the first Hangouts on Air digital enhanced magazine, but it can be community derived.
Interesting enough, as I think about it, and as I just listened to you, why don't we make the goal and objective of the first edition, if you will, to be January 1st, so that we're taking this essentially the same 100 days that I just talked about a little while ago, where we evaluate our businesses. We take those same 100 days and create the first publication, and use that. Maybe see if we can tie that in as a theme of the magazine. See if we can kind of tie that as the theme of the first edition. What do you think about that?
Absolutely. January 1st, there's no better start to the year is on January 1st.
Okay, that's what we're going to do. On January 1st, the community will publish the first. I guess it's kind of the first edition. Because you've thrown some out there already, or you haven't, or I don't remember what you told me.
No, there's nothing that's gone to digital publishing yet. Nothing has been created. I designed a cover, but one of the things that we clearly need immediately is someone who can work with Adobe. I'm throwing it out, but I'm open to other platforms. Someone that would be willing to step up and set this up in Adobe InDesign.
Okay, Scott, do a favor for me. Create a simple paragraph, a document, whatever it is, of what we would need from, like you just said, Adobe, if that's what you're looking for, so that we can publish it within the community. And people actually, why don't, well, you have a community. I told you to create a community. There is one.
Yeah, and in fact, I think I'm going to make anybody here that wants to be in that community. It's Hangouts on Air magazine. There's also a Hangouts on Air magazine business page. And there's a HangoutsOnAirMagazine.com, which is the landing page for the subscriptions.
All community communications, anything about the magazine, we'll just post in that community discussion.
And then anyone here that wants to be a moderator to that community, just message me privately, and I'll put you in on that.
Watch when you make Vivek a moderator, because what he does, he takes a situation and he cleans it up, he simplifies it, he integrates it, and that's what it's all about.
David, I agree with what you just said. I'm happy to be a moderator for Scott's. In the meanwhile, Kenneth Menesse has put a comment. This is for Scott Silverstein.
And let me tell anybody, I didn't. Well, I'm not following the stream, but Ken, thank you for coming today. Ken has a wonderful, wonderful HOA that he does on the micro entrepreneur. I've been a panelist, and Ken, thank you for coming today. And we will post that. Ken, anything about the magazine we will put in this community that Scott created, so it'll be an easy way for us to communicate what we need to do, and we'll put requests for help. We'll put a section in there, Scott, on topic ideas. I think, and I'm telling you, Scott, as I'm sitting here, and I'll say it for the 100th time, if we take HOAs, anybody's HOA, it doesn't matter who, because we all try to do an HOA where there's good content involved, and we timestamp that HOA and make that a part of the publication. It will be in such great demand among readers. It's a real service to the reader, the individual reading the magazine, and advertisers are going to gobble that concept up because of the engagement.
Yeah, because then they could find the timestamp that they want to point to send people to the Hangout, to watch that part of the Hangout.
Precisely.
And who has the time to watch a 45 to an hour show to find their plug?
Wow, and Vivek is working on an application that might come out sometime in 2015 that will automate. Actually, aren't we getting? Or Preston, you said you brought up the other day that you came into some software that interprets the HOA. Didn't you mention that the other day?
He is muted.
Yeah, I had
Yeah,
muted
there
myself out.
Yeah.
Typing some stuff. Yeah, there is a company that I've talked to. I've talked to the owner, and we're looking at how we can incorporate it actually with what we're doing too. But it is a way for you to actually capture video and put it around a template, if you will, but actually embed it into your website, and you can have it on the right-hand side. You can have it below it. I mean, there's a lot of many options with the templates that they have, and you can actually timestamp it and title it at that particular point of that timestamp, and it is really brilliant.
The timestamping you have to do, or does it happen automatically?
No,
That's the.
what you do is you watch the video, and then when you get to that point where you want to make a timestamp, you just hit it, and it puts a little marker there, and then the marker basically shows up on the right-hand side of what you want to title that to be.
So you still have to go through the process. So it's a real-time process. If the HOA is an hour, you've got to listen to an hour and timestamp as you go along.
Yeah.
Or you do it as the show is running live.
There you go. You say that hour at a time, and you do it as you're producing the HOA. Absolutely.
I don't know if it does live. We haven't tested it with that. We just tested it with the fact that you can bring in like a YouTube video or other videos too. I think you can upload your own videos.
Well, I guess then it means something a little bit different. Then we watch a live HOA or produce a live HOA a little bit differently. We say, boy, that's a good point, and it came at this point, and we timestamp it. You know, we do it in longhand. We do it manually while we're doing the HOA, and say, boom, boom, and so we're going to save a bunch of time if we're timestamping in our mind as the HOA is going on, rather than wait till it's done, then go back to listen to 60 minutes, then timestamp, you know, whatever we're going to. So it's the mindset of how we watch HOAs and observe them.
Yeah. Another point, David, if I may. Kenneth has also put in a comment on the other, which I can't bring onto the screen as such, but he has shared a link about mind map software, which I responded to him saying that I have already, I'm using it already in my HOA show, and in any case, thanks, Kenneth, for sharing that link.
Did he suggest the software that you are actually using? The same software?
Yeah, it's the same software, exact same software.
Wow, then brilliant minds work together. Ken
Is that mind map software the software that automatically timestamps and identifies the conversation?
No, it doesn't have anything to do with timestamp. It's to do with when you have all these different ideas. How do you, number one, how do you present it? The other one is how do you make sure that you don't lose track of all those different ideas? How do you make sure that you remember them? And essentially how to make ideas work for you. So it's a mind map, as in you present them, you draw diagrams, you write them. The main concept behind that is actually the Think Buzan, the author of that whole software. He says that we are using only 1% of our brain. Humans are using just 1% of our brain, and this software helps to increase the utilization. So anyway, yeah. Sorry about the long.
No, that's
No
good.
problem.
I've always thought coffee gets me up to 1.5%.
Preston, I just took your suggestion. See what happens.
Yeah. I should have done that earlier. Never thought of that.
I should have done it earlier, personally done it earlier, but didn't know all the situation. But anyway, that's the, guys, I want to thank you. This is absolutely the most exciting community meeting that I've ever hosted, that I've ever facilitated. The thoughts, the ideas, everything that this community is all about came out in this in our. How long have we been doing this? We've been doing this for almost an hour now, and I want to thank you for taking time to make all this happen. I mean, that's what it's all about. And Vivek, you said something in a stream this week, and I smiled and I laughed the whole way through, and Scott and I were having some fun. Scott wanted to have some orchestra seats for today's community meeting, and so I said, yeah, it'll cost you a little bit. And we went back and forth, and we talked about the benefits. I think, Scott, you said that's one of the benefits of the community, and Vivek made the statement and hit the nail right on the head that the benefit of the community comes with engagement. Engagement is the key, because has there ever been a more powerful 60-minute public HOA of the engagement that we've been going through today? The answer is no. No.
Yeah, well, I say when we look back on this in 6 months, and when Hangouts on Air magazine has 20,000 subscribers in it, and it's not going to be because of the joke column.
Particularly if you're the one telling the jokes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, maybe we should have a column in there for comics that are using Hangouts on Air. That, Comedy Central in New York. You go to New York. I happen to like to go to New York once in a while. I go to a comedy club with my wife. We sit there and we laugh, Mm-hmm. Perhaps someone, is there anybody out there using Hangouts for comedy?
I'll tell you what, interesting you bring that up. Do you know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, that Martin Shervington's background, he spent time studying stand-up comedy, literally. He went to San Francisco. I think he went there for 6 or 8, or I don't know how long he was there, for the purpose of engaging in stand-up comedy. We got to get him involved. He'll be our comedian in the community.
Well, I'm a wannabe comedian.
I picked that up, Scott. I definitely.
My problem is I'm stage fright.
Yeah, you're stage fright. Yeah.
No, I am seriously. I don't like to speak in front of a large group of people. I mean, really, you need that for a comedian.
Okay, so here's
Scott, wait a minute. There's over 1 million people watching right now.
Here's a collaborative.
Don't say that. I'll turn my video off.
Here's a collaborative idea for you, Scott. You feed me your material, okay? And we'll make a mask up. We'll make a Scott Silverstein mask up, and I'll wear the mask, and they'll think it's you, and I'll deliver your lines.
You mean the funny lines?
Are there funny lines?
Are we really getting laughs out there in the cyberspace?
What about this applause functionality of the HOAs I've been reading about? I don't want to get involved in it, but aren't people supposed to be applauding us, or what? Well, how's that work? Ken said, "Thank you for the invite. Heading out to meet with a client." Ken, do you guys know Ken at all?
Oh yeah, great guy.
He's a real fascinating guy, and he does a great HOA, and he's got a great story to tell. Great story to tell. Okay, boy, Vivek has taken away from his family to participate in this HOA because Saturday is Family Day in the UK. Scott didn't have anything better to do, so he shows up. Preston got tired of picking bananas and doing all the missionary work. He wanted to take a break from all of that and come in and have some fun today. Thank you, guys. This was the best community meeting we've had. That just all the things that I want to happen in the community happen today. So thank you for. Thank you for being a part of that. And watch the discussion stream in the community. It's going to flow better than it's ever flowed before because Vivek is in there helping me create a more simplified flow, and we're going to be doing some things different. There's opportunities, friends. There are opportunities with HOA Magazine. It is off the wall. The opportunities. It's an opportunity for not only to you to market your own business. That certainly is right there. But together, the power of this, and when Scott says, somewhat sarcastically, that 6 months from now, when there are 20,000 people reading this publication, realistically, Scott, there may be 100,000 people reading this publication in 6 months. To that point, and I'm going to leave this as a final challenge. We saw our 500th member join the community this week, and that's a wonderful feeling. That's a wonderful feeling because it shows that people want to get involved. They want to do things, but quite honestly, it's not really about the numbers. The numbers are just a number. The statement, the very first statement I made, if you look at a description of the community, is there is strength in numbers, and there's certainly strength in numbers. But back to a point that Vivek made in one of the comment streams that flowed this week, that it's not necessarily about the numbers, it's about the engagement. And my mission, if you will, with the HOA that I take the time to produce, and I ask my friends to get involved in the HOA with me, my objective is to only have at least one positive thing that moves a business forward. If I've been able to accomplish that by producing the HOA, it is time well spent. I leave you with the question, how many positive things did you hear today that can move multitudes of businesses forward? Mm-hmm. My name is Small Biz Dave, and thank you. I look forward to the next time when we all can get together, because the next time may very well be the best time. See you then.